Thank you very much, Gil, Kuhn, and Bas for having us here. I want basically to invite you to build on Starknet. It is the future-proof chain, and it's certainly novel in many ways. We've been about innovation, but today I want to tell you a little bit about our vision, then about the amazing community which I invite you to join, and then also about the innovations that are taking place right now as we speak. So let's start with vision. Why are we doing these things? You know, I used to be a professor in academia, and I left about 6 years ago in order to found Starkware. And the question is, what is our vision? Where are we heading? And this has to do with integrity via math. So let me explain. You know, today when we interact on the internet or in the digital space, we are led to believe that we own our actions, our assets, and our lives, but that's actually not the case, because our assets are always custodied with other parties, and our actions are always intermediated by others. And they can censor us, they can screw us, they can take our assets like that, and we will have no recourse. And of course, blockchains offer a different way, a way that uses basically economic incentives and distributed computation and a whole lot of transparency in order to achieve integrity and allow people to truly own their lives and their assets in a way that you cannot do on Web 2. And basically, we want to be part of that story, and what we're bringing to the table is we are the validity-proof innovators. When Starkware was founded 6 years ago, we were the very first to say the way to solve the scaling problem and later also the privacy problem is actually to do it with a particular kind of technology that is related to proofs. And among all proofs, the variant that is safest and most future-proof is actually ZK Starks, which we happen to invent and also to productize first. And you know, everyone today is going on validity rollups, and that's great. We started it, and we're still leading the pack. So our mission, really, is to be part of this integrity web that connects a whole lot of chains. You know, we just announced Bitcoin support, Ethereum, of course, and a whole lot of others. And the reason is so that basically you become the true owner of your assets and your life. And for that, we need integrity, first by blockchains, but then also with this extra support offered by math via ZK Starks. So that is our vision, and everything that we're doing in order to achieve that vision. So now I want to tell you a little bit about our community, again, to invite you to join it, because this is a story not just of Starkware building amazing technology. It is a story of a very large ecosystem that is committed to this vision and is breaking new ground. And we, of course, would like to have a lot more of you look into it and use it. So Starknet has 100% native account abstraction. There are no EOAs and smart contracts. There's only one type of contracts. These are smart contracts, and it is the only L2 to have this as in a native layer, which means that all of our wallets are already smart wallets today, and they have a lot of innovative features that basically give you Web 2 UX while giving you true self-custody and ownership in a Web 3 manner. So both Bravos and Argent, I highly advise you just to try download any one of them and try interacting with and on-ramping. You'll see that it feels very different. In particular, no 24-word passphrases that needed to be kept. You can have recovery through email, signing transactions with Face ID. All of the stuff you know from your iPhones and Android phones are there today, supported by the account abstraction already there. A lot of the innovative gamers looking to put more on-chain logic are flocking and joining Starknet. And the reason is the amount of compute available is much higher than on any other L1 or L2. There are no limits on the size of the code that you can put on chain, and the size of the number of steps that you can do is immense compared to, let's say, Ethereum or any EVM that will be L2 that will be based on Ethereum. You'll have much stricter limitations. And because of these reasons, a lot of the innovative gaming companies are coming and building on Starknet. About a month ago, one of these flagships gaming companies launched their production game called Influence, that if you're into deep space strategic MMOs, please check it out. It's getting a lot of traction, even by people coming from Solana, like this person, you know, who turns out to like it. So check it out. We have a large ecosystem of small game developers that are building on a platform called Dojo. They actually have a residency program running, well, starting like this week, run by Cartridge, taking place in Brooklyn for a number of weeks, and you know, reach out to them and check out a lot of innovative games, again, built there because of the support for very massive computation done on-chain in a way you can't find anywhere else. We have the next generation AMM, Akubo, built by Moody, who was one of the lead developers of Uniswap, and went out to build basically version 4 with time-weighted average market making already in production on Akubo, live, already there. Something you won't find anywhere else. And you have other very interesting DeFi teams like Avenue that allows you to do basically DEX aggregation on-chain in a very efficient manner, Nimbora DeFi pooling, and even AI logic supported on-chain through Hinkal. All of these systems are live. Gaming, I mentioned Dojo, but also the Realms world, which again brings together a lot of very interesting and cutting edge, you know, next generation gaming that go beyond play to earn and stuff like that. So why is this community emerging? Because of the innovative nature of Starknet, which is really, you know, in a sort of a league unto its own. I'll give you some highlights. So within like roughly 3 weeks, already on testnet right now, we have the next version of the operating system of Starknet, and some of the highlights there. It will be supporting TPS for ERC20 transfers at a rate of roughly between 250 and 300 TPS, which is something that I don't believe you can do on any other layer 2 on Ethereum, let alone a validity rollup or a so-called ZK rollup. It will support very efficient computation of basically pairing-based cryptography, which means that you can verify on Starknet things like, you know, Zcash style transactions, BLS signatures, Groth 16. So you can basically now plug in as layer 3s anything that ends with a Groth 16 proof or something similar to that. And you can pack a few hundred of those in a single block of Starknet and have each one of them verified for fractions of a cent or something like a cent on Ethereum, because our costs are also the lowest among all L2s right now. And they will go down even more with version 13.2, which has a much better applicative recursion and lower gas costs all around. We will also move to 2-second confirmation time to support even better gaming and DeFi UX. All of this coming within 3 weeks, and that's not the end. I expect that by the end of the year, we'll probably be closer to, you know, 1,000 TPS for ERC20 and even faster, well, finality and lower costs. We're also the first L2 to have parallelization, optimistic parallelization in production, leading to even more throughput. Now, right now, the L2 space, you don't see that much constraint there. Things seem to be, you know, there's enough space for everything, but, you know, we've been around enough time to know that this will not last. And a lot of the customers that came to us during, you know, the crunch of scale on Ethereum in like roughly 2019 and 2020 came because all of a sudden gas became very expensive on Ethereum, and we were ready with a solution that can basically scale very well at fractions of a cost. So systems like, you know, Immutable X, we saved them a factor of 20,000 on transactions. When people were minting NFTs at a cost of $40 a pop, they were minting NFTs at a cost of 1/5 of a cent. Same thing with DYDX, which came to us because they again were basically at the height of the gas cost on Ethereum. They were constrained and needed to run a business. So I think something similar is going to happen, right, when there's more adoption. And then things like performance and scale are going to really matter, especially if you want to give good user experience, support, you know, things like Face ID signatures and have massive computation at fractions of a cent. You want to build on a place where when the masses come in, you will still be able to support scale. And that place is really only Starknet. So while you maybe don't see it right now, because if you look at most of the L2s, there's enough room for everyone, and most of them are churning at, you know, 10 to 20 TPS or even lower. But imagine a day when, you know, like the amount of the TPS of Visa is around 20,000, Alipay is at 100,000. We want to reach those scales. So where are you going to build your infrastructure such that when the masses come, because you have very good product market fit, where are they going to be where you can support that? And I know that we can support that. So now, all of this goodness and performance is still using our last generation proving system, which is about 4 years old. It's called Stone, stands for Stark 1. But we're now in advanced stages of developing the next generation prover called Stwo, which stands for Stark 2. And it will use a lot of, you know, all the new and most efficient stuff that we can think of. It will use a very small field, call them a SEN 31-bit field, GKR lookups and logups, mixed degrees, and improved Cairo VM. What does this mean to you, right? This is a bunch of, you know, math and engineering terms. But here's what it means. So very recently, we clocked how many transactions, what is the proving throughput of the system? And basically, we showed, you know, that you can prove 500,000 invocations of a hash function on a quad core with AVX 512. So if this didn't impress you, it was certainly a world record, you know, 100x better than anything that was posted prior to this, and we haven't even, you know, finished our optimizations. So here's one person whom you may recognize who was impressed by it.
And then eventually I got to 120 hashes per second, and I was really happy. And then I asked some lovely Starkware people, okay, how much do you guys get? And they told me 500,000. So, you know, that definitely was interesting, right?
So this is from, you know this guy, right? So this is from his talk given at the Starknet CC event in Brussels about a month ago. And we're collaborating, you know, with, so Stwo, our next generation prover, is being built open source, and we're already collaborating with a lot of teams inside the Ethereum ecosystem, you know, people from the Ethereum Foundation research team, other teams within the Ethereum ecosystem. There's a lot of room for collaboration on this particular thing, but also this is going to also be extremely important for Bitcoin because you know, Bitcoin, I don't know if you know this, but Bitcoin, basically the basic machine that is the virtual machine of Bitcoin operates with 32-bit words and doesn't support larger things. And it just so happens that Stwo, this next generation prover, operates with 31-bit integers, which means that you can fit them inside Bitcoin words in a very efficient way. So this leads to being able to support Stark verification on top of Bitcoin, especially if you assume that OpCat will be adopted. So we're trying to support more research of OpCat, and we already have committed ourselves to deploying Starknet as a layer 2 on top of Bitcoin within 6 months of having OpCat adopted. And it's something that, you know, I don't know when Bitcoin, if or when Bitcoin will do it, but, you know, we hope that there'll be at least some very candid discussion of the pros and cons of it. And to support that, we've committed to a $1 million research fund dedicated to studying OpCat, its pros and cons. So by the way, if you guys want to do research on OpCat and see, you know, think about ways, you know, that it causes problems or mitigations for them. So please submit a proposal. You can, you know, basically Google Starkware Bitcoin OpCat research, and you can submit a proposal. There is an active research funding committee headed by Andrew Polstra from Blockstream, and with a lot of Bitcoin research luminaries there. So please consider supporting that or looking into it. Now, once we deploy Starknet on Bitcoin, it will be supported, or it will settle securely onto both Ethereum and onto Bitcoin. So you will have this thing that we call a layer 2 L2 squared, which means it's both a layer 2, but it actually reports to two different chains. And of course, from that, you can extrapolate then, we already have innovated on the side of, L3, 4, and 5 fractal scaling, but you can also have, L2 cubed settling onto 3 chains, 4 chains, or at some point we'll reach, well, I don't know if L infinity, but that's where we're heading. So now, as I said, a lot of those coming and joining our community have been drawn to the vision, both technological, but also sort of philosophical, or the stuff I was talking about. We are not degens by nature, but we are very much in the business of building amazing infrastructure with cutting-edge cryptography. And a lot of the stuff that you see mentioned around and being deployed was basically innovated and invented inside Starkware and also deployed first there. So things like Validium, the first L2 that uses basically a general purpose computation and settles onto Ethereum. That was Cairo, our programming language, a ZK-friendly programming language, which is Cairo. Now everyone is talking about aggregation, but we've actually have it in production. We have been running it in production for something like 4 years, since 2020. We call it SHARP, shared proving, and recursive proving, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we have a track record of innovating and moving ahead of the pack, and we invite you to join us. So, as I said, we're the only L2 with native account abstraction. We have Cairo, which is a new programming language, next generation programming language. Programming languages go through stages and phases. When I was growing up, there was, BASIC and Pascal, and now C++, moving into Rust. So Solidity is a great language, but we think that Cairo is actually better for writing smart contracts. Please check it out. Rust-inspired, safe, ergonomic, linearly typed. We're very courageous at making choices in our design, multi-calls, gas metering at compilation, and a whole bunch of other things. And coming very soon, within like 3 months, we're going to have staking on Starknet. So if you're into DeFi and restaking protocols and stuff like that, please check it out. There's a lot to build, infrastructure for it, or to use it. So I want to just reiterate my starting point. This all emanates from our vision, and our vision is that today in the digital sphere, our assets, our actions, and our lives are custodied and mediated by others, and those others don't necessarily have our best intentions in their mind. A better way of doing things is demanding that integrity be something that is never assumed, but rather demonstrated publicly and upheld by all. That is our vision, and the way we're going at that vision is by offering and pushing on the frontiers of integrity via development of open source ZK Starks and math for the use of everyone. So please, there's a lot of room for collaboration. We have a booth there. If you see folks with a Starkware shirt, please talk to us. Thank you very much.